everyone, it's Jackie at Spare Room Studio. Today I'm back to do my completed pages video for August 2024. This may be a slightly longer video than usual for completed pages. I have done quite a number this month. I think it's about 35, 36, something like that. I may not even have them all here in this video. My organisation skills went a bit awry in the last week or so. If you follow the channel, you will know that I've been in hospital. I've had a few issues after 2 medical procedures that I had earlier in the month, and so everything has gone a bit haywire. So my organisation skills weren't the best anyway, but they've got even worse this month. But we'll go through. I've got a pile of books here that I had put aside, and I've tried to mark all the pages. So I'll try not to witter on too much, but we'll see how this goes. So please bear with me. So I'm going to start with reptiloids. I've done a number of pages in several books this month because once the book is out, I tend to keep working in it. If I've enjoyed a page or I'm enjoying a particular medium or something, I might do several pages in a book. So this one here is water-based markers and coloured pencil. Please excuse my scribble off to the side here. I haven't got these in the order that I've actually completed them, but that was just something for me to try and keep track a little bit better. So this one was a buddy colour with Joe at 120 Colours, I think. I'm sorry, Joe, if I get this wrong. I'm still a little bit befuddled by things that have happened. So that one was water-based markers and coloured pencil. I also did this one with Joe at 120 Colours, and this one is water-based markers and coloured pencil again. And I'm sorry if the camera shakes here, I'm just trying to keep things in focus. So I quite enjoyed the way that that one turned out. I do like this little book. It's very quick and easy to colour. They are from another month. And this one was a trio buddy colour that Joe at 120 Colours, Annika at Axic Fumbles and myself did. And this was for JI Colourists, hashtag Olympic colouring something or other. Sorry, Jodie. But we chose to do this page and we used the colours that represent our country or our country's flag or something to do with the Olympic flag. And I chose to go with the green and gold for Australia. That's what Australia tends to wear when they're competing. And I've also got red, white and blue in here, which is representative of our Australian flag. And I've got gold, silver and bronze around the border there to represent the medals. And if you're not familiar with Australians when they're competing overseas, quite often the crowd will get a chant going of Aussie, 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 oi, oi, oi. So that's what I've put on his little skateboard looking thing that he's got here. So that was a lot of fun as well. That was water-based markers, coloured pencils and Jelly Roll metallic pens by Sakura, I think. So that was reptiloids. In Rita Berman's Mein Reise durch Europa, I've done this one page, which was again for Jodie's hashtag, and I have written it down on this one, thankfully. It was Olympic Colouring 2024 with JI Colourist. I used Artex pencils and Sakura Jelly Roll metallics. So this one I went for representative of the fact that I now am an Australian citizen. I pretty much call myself Australian most of the time. However, I was born in England, so I've used this book because I like the page with the London things on. So that represents my English heritage, and red, white and blue is the same colours on the flag for both of our countries, and I've added the gold, silver and bronze into there as well. And that page was all Artex pencils with Sakura Jelly Roll metallics. And it's very rare these days that I actually Sorry, I'm just trying to get that to stay focused. It's very rare these days that I do a page just in coloured pencil, but that's what I had to hand for that one, and you can see that the gold, silver and bronze is shining there on all of those leaves. So that was the only one in that book. I'm going to save Mountain King because that's sort of the most recent book. Now, I have Matchstick Mouse here. I do have a copy of Matchstick Mouse, and my husband made me this photocopied version to do some work with my granddaughter. She is only 5, going on 6. And so this book is my book for practicing with her, or colouring with her. And so I'm doing some experimental things in this one. Evie and I are doing some buddy colours with Jo at 120 Colours and her daughter Georgia. And so these are some of the pages that the girls were colouring, and I coloured along while Evie was doing it. So this one was actually just Crayola crayons. And there is a video showing how I coloured some of this page, but you can see that I haven't cleaned it up yet. I've got lots of bits of crayon everywhere, but that's okay. And I quite enjoyed the way that turned out, and I'm going to try and do some more coloured pages with crayons really soon. So that was one of the pages. This is another one that we did, Evie and I. She's got her own copy. So water-based markers and coloured pencils. And I did this one on video, I believe. It is various brands of alcohol markers, and I used hand sanitizer. So all of this texture that you can see in the ground here, and I did some in the background of the sky just to sort of try it out and see what it looked like. I also used it to lighten off some colour there. So it was just hand sanitizer that I applied with a cotton bud or Q-tip, and I think that turned out quite well. It was a really quick and easy, relaxed colour, and I enjoyed doing that one. In between, sorry, we've got a bit of a wobble going today. In between the harder pages, it's sometimes really nice to do these more simple ones. So that's Matchstick Mouse by Morgan O'Brien. Now I've got quite a few here in Lost and Found. What I tend to do is when I hear that R.J. Hampson is releasing a new book, I go through his old books and try to get a few pages done, because I just feel like I'm adding another book into the collection. I want to get some pages marked off. And this one is water-based markers with coloured pencil. See if we can get it to focus in a bit better. There we go. So water-based markers, and I diluted some of that with a water brush, and then I used coloured pencils over the top. And I've just basically said water-based markers and coloured pencil because I've used many different brands there and it would be too long to list them all. So I quite like the way that that page turned out. I think that the water ended up being quite effective. I like the colours. It's lots of fun and vibrant and so on. Now I'm not sure if you're going to pick this up on the camera, but you might hear a slight buzzing. That's because I have a fancy schmancy dressing system for the wound that I have after surgery, and it has a little contraption that buzzes intermittently. So if you can hear that on the camera, I'm sorry, but that is what it is. Okay, so this one was water-based markers, coloured pencils and Sakura Jelly Roll silver pen. See if we can get that to lock in there. And this was a lot of fun. This was one that I started a while ago and just didn't come back to it for one reason or another. And this month I actually managed to finish quite a few pages that way because they'd either been based with backgrounds or started, and then I just had to finish them off. So there's quite a bit of shine on the card because I really layered the pencil on top of the markers there. But that was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that page. This one was a really quick one. This was, let's have a look, acrylic marker pens for the background and coloured pencil for everything else. So I got some cheap marker pens and I was trying them out by going through and colouring a load of solid backgrounds with them just to get that background started and try out the marker to see how I liked them. And then I finished the page later on, and I've added some silver gel pen there, as you can see, a bit of gold gel pen, and yeah, very simple one, but sometimes simple is enough. And it's definitely how I've been feeling this month on certain days, but that's a story for another day. Okay, so this page is acrylic marker background, water-based markers, alcohol markers, coloured pencils, and Gelly Roll silver metallic. So there is a lot happening on this page. Again, it's another one that I did the background there with the acrylic marker pen just to get that down and see how I liked it. And then I've used a little bit of everything else all over the rest of the page. There's not a lot of shininess on there, but there is a bit of shine from some of the pencils. The sword is silver, so there's a little bit of a reflection there. So let's get that to focus again if we can. So yeah, that one turned out quite well. I enjoyed that one as well. Now this one is water-based markers and coloured pencils, mostly Faber-Castell connector pens and Artex pencils, I think. And that is a really fun page. I've used water in the background here with the water-based markers, the same down here. Yeah, what else can I say? That's basically just using the markers and then going over the top with the coloured pencil to bring in some definition and depth of colour and so on. And I like the way that that one turned out as well. That was a lot of fun. The expressions that RJ puts into all of his characters do make me chuckle sometimes. And then this one is another one that I did by starting off with the background first with the acrylic paint marker, and I don't often do that. I usually do backgrounds last, but because I had the acrylic markers in my hand in my lap, and this particular day I know it was a hard day, I wasn't feeling very comfortable, so once I got into a comfortable position in my chair, I stayed put. And I only had a couple of books to hand and the acrylic markers and something else to hand. And so I just went through and did a bunch of backgrounds, bits of details, just got started. And then I came back and finished the pages when I had all my other stuff to hand. Now you might see that there is a little bit of shine and sheen on this one because I've got Sakura Gelly Roll metallic pens, and I've also got Sakura glaze pens on there, which is providing quite a bit of shine. And it's not overly fussy, but I really like that one, and I liked the way the colour scheme worked as well. So acrylic paint marker, alcohol markers, and Sakura Gelly Roll metallic pens. Okay, this is my first page in this book called Fright and Seek, a spooky search and colour mission by, I think it's Lee Melendres. I apologise if I'm not pronouncing that correctly. And this is a seek and find book, which my granddaughter, she's almost 6, she loves doing those sorts of seek and find books. And this is quite advanced for her. It's going to be difficult for her, but I figure I've got a bit of time to try and get the page or some of the pages coloured so that she will be able to start doing the seek and find aspect of it. So this one is called Sewer Search, and you have your little characters that you've got to look for, a little write-up about them, and then you have your double page image. I've used all sorts of water-based markers and Sakura Jelly Roll glazed pens for this particular page. See if we can get that to focus. Go. So I decided on all sorts of greens, browns and greys. And I really like the way that that one turned out. It was actually much trickier to colour than I thought it was going to be, but I did enjoy it. So I'm looking forward to getting some more of those ones done. Yeah. Next, that's my Matchstick Mouse book there. I don't think I've done any in that actual copy this month, but yeah, that's caught up in there. Okay, Alien Worlds is next by Kirby Rosanes. This is acrylic paint pen with water-based markers. And I went for a lot of block colouring, very saturated. I wanted it to be really vibrant, and I think it's all those things. I really like the way the orange and the blue and the red have played off against each other here. That was a pretty quick page to colour actually. And this one is a double page spread here. This is water-based markers and Wink of Stella. So partway through the month I repurchased a new Wink of Stella. I have had that before. Let's see if we can get that to show. You might be able to see some of it there in the background and on there. I have had Wink of Stella before and I like it. And I just felt like getting another one to try again. So very simple colouring again. It has had some areas have water on there to dilute the colours and blend the colours better. But, you know, other than that, it's all pretty simple marker colouring. It wasn't that hard, and I blended the colours on the page with the markers. So that's another one done in this book. And this one here is, oops, sorry. Oh, I'm doing a terrible job of this today. Wondering whether to get started again, maybe. This one is water-based markers and coloured pencils. So I'm not sure off the top of my head what this page was called or what planet it is. But again, I was experimenting with those acrylic markers in the sky there, I think. So that's the last one, I think. No, one more. Okay, forgot about this one. This one is water-based markers, coloured pencils, Sakura Jelly Roll Moonlight, which is the ones that have some neon colours in there. Very colourful, very vibrant. I was going for basically everything that I think is opposite to my stereotypical view of what Alien Worlds would be like. I normally think of, you know, muted, murky colours, but this book I'm trying to do it in the super bright colours because this isn't my favourite book of Kirby's. I'm not a huge fan of alien worlds and the creatures. So because some of them are quite ugly, I've tried to enjoy the page a bit more, I guess, through the choice of colours. So that's that one there. So that is the last one this time in Alien Worlds by Kirby Rosanes. And I've got Nelko Neko. This is the story of Precious Cats, and I did this page on video for you. See if we can get that colour right. I'm having a terrible time today. I'm sorry everyone, this is not the most professional video that you're ever going to see, but you are getting to see the pages, I guess. This was Sakura Koi watercolours in their pocket filled sketch box, and some Sakura Koi colouring brush pens and Sakura metallic jelly roll. And there's also a bit of glaze on there as well. So I quite enjoyed this one. The watercolours out of the pocket filled sketch box worked really nicely, and I liked some of that watercolour wet in wet bleeding that I had happened there, and you may be able to see some of that shine. And the Queen of Hearts, I always like the Queen of Hearts as a subject matter, but this particular one is very cute. It's a very cute book. Okay, so that was Story of Precious Cats. This was my biggest failure for this month. This is Luna Colouring by Stratton Peterson, and I'm very disappointed that I did such a bad job in such a pretty book, but I think it's very indicative of how my month has gone and how I was feeling. And also I shared it because I think it's really helpful for everybody to see that we are not always on the top of our game. We don't need to feel ashamed about sharing it if we're not on top of our game. And how we are feeling really does affect the results that we can create sometimes. So this one was water-based markers and Artex pencils with white acrylic paint pen. And I'd started with getting some watery effects down, which just went wrong and then set the tone for the page. And I discovered that I do not like colouring this sort of busy twig foliage like sort of diagrams or pictures. That really is not my thing, and my choice of medium probably wasn't the best for the book. So basically everything that could have gone wrong did go wrong, but I persevered to finish it, and that was with Annika at Axit Fumbles. It really wasn't my best effort, but I shared it anyway. So hopefully as I go further into this book, I get a grip with what will work better in there than what I tried with that one. So that's Luna Colouring, Stratton Peterson. Then I've got Annie Day, which was a beautiful gift for me from Jo at 120 Colours and her lovely daughter Georgia. And so very grateful to receive a Happy Mail gift. And this one was water-based markers and coloured pencils. This was actually a, pardon me, buddy colour with Axit Fumbles, and I feel like I redeemed myself a little bit with this one because that was a much better result. I didn't use water on this, I don't think. I just used, no, it doesn't look cockled. I just used the water-based markers as a base and then came in with coloured pencil over the top of it. And there's a little tiny bit of acrylic paint marker for the white highlights. So that worked quite well. This one, I don't think I've put this one on Instagram yet. I'm not sure. My Instagram game fell apart a little bit as well. This is Crayola crayons, coloured pencils and water-based markers. So I've done a bit of everything on this page as well. You can see that the page is a little bit damaged there. I've layered so heavily. There's a little bit of damage to the paper, and the crayon leaves terrible amount of crumbs everywhere, but I like the lovely colours, and it does give you a whole different feeling when you're colouring with crayons. So that one turned out quite well in the end. And then the last one, I coloured this one on camera, so there is a video of this one if you're interested. This was the one that I coloured to say thank you to Joe for sending me the book. You can see that the page is a bit wrinkled where I've used water. I used Sakura Koi colouring brush pens by colouring onto the plate and lifting off the colour with a damp brush, the water brush pens. And I've used Jelly Roll Moonlight and coloured pencil. So she turned out quite well in that one as well. I liked that one very much. I also crochet. If you don't know, you don't follow my channel, I have talked about the fact that I crochet as well. So I like anything that has yarn and, you know, knitting or crochet things in it as well. So yeah, she turned out quite pretty. So that's Annie Day by Morgan O'Brien. Then I did a buddy colour with Kate. Now, sorry Kate, I can't remember your Instagram handle off the top of my head. Let's see if we can get this to focus. It's cloudy and windy today, so the sun is going in and out a lot as well, so that doesn't help. This one was Derwent watercolour pencils, and then I used Wink of Stella on the wings. So we'll bring her in a bit closer for you to see some of those details. See if we can get any of the sparkle to show. Probably won't because it is quite tricky. There is some sparkle on her wings, a little bit on her face and up here. So that was the Derwent watercolour pencils, and I like the way watercolour products are working in this book. They work quite well on this paper. They turn out quite pretty. So that was that one. So I'm sorry Kate, I can't remember your Instagram handle off the top of my head. And this one I did a very short finish off of this page on YouTube, so there is a video regarding how I did the background mostly. This is Sakura Koi watercolours in their pocket filled sketch box. I was actually supplied with a few things by Sakura because I'm their Sakura Star of the Month over on Instagram, and as part of that initiative they send out products for you to try, and I loved the watercolours, especially this page. It turned out brilliantly, and I'm really happy with the way that one turned out. I deliberately chose to leave it very light and airy. I didn't want to layer too much colour on there. I didn't want coloured pencil on there. This is all just watercolour. I just wanted to show watercolour how, you know, how it can really look lovely if you keep it light and let the colours do their own thing and let the white of the paper come through the colours. And there's a little bit of gold Jelly Roll metallic by Sakura as well on the bells and her jewellery there, but the rest is watercolour. So that turned out really well. Very happy with that one. Now this is one that I've only just recently finished. I did this particular page here. Sorry, this lighting today is shocking. I did this particular page here with acrylic paint markers, and then I've used a little bit of coloured pencil over the top. I'll lift that up for you in a moment. But again, experimenting with the acrylic paint markers and how to get sort of different looks with those. And I actually quite like the way this turned out. Get this to focus again. There we go. So on his face there, it's mostly pencil. I've used a bit of acrylic paint marker to base it and then gone over it with pencil. But if you look at the rest of this here, it's very roughly done. I've not gone for blending, and I haven't gone for detail. I just wanted to use flecks of colour to see whether we could get the effect without going into it with too much effort, and I'm really quite happy with the way that's turned out. It might not be everybody's cup of tea, but I'm quite happy with it. I've also left a lot of white. I haven't tried to cover everything within an inch of its life. And I'm actually really quite happy with the way that one's turned out. And I think I might try doing that with the paint markers again on the days where I really don't feel like layering or doing lots of effort. I love the payoff that you get here in this background. It's solid, it's saturated, it's easy. It's two layers there. So for very little effort, I'm happy with the way that turned out, because if I had attempted that, even in water-based markers or coloured pencils, it would have taken me a very long time. But that one did not, and I'm happy with it. So that one is Mythomorphia by Kirby Rosanes. And last of all, I'm going to go to Mountain King. Now, Mountain King was only just released about a week and a half ago, I think. And then I went into hospital, so I took, I got my husband to bring this book in for me because it was top of the pile and easy for him to find. So this one came into hospital with me, and I did some hospital colouring as well. So just avert your eyes if you get a bit sick. I'm going to just bring that camera down a little bit. I hope that wasn't too bad for you all, and then I can not keep lifting this book up. Right, sorry, take a deep breath. Ohuhu alcohol markers is all I used on that page. I wanted to challenge myself to do a one medium page. Sorry, I'm just taking my jacket off because I'm very hot all of a sudden. As I mentioned, there's been times where I've been quite uncomfortable, and so I haven't been able to keep getting up and down and reaching for different things and finding different books. So this book got a lot of attention, and for this particular page I felt like alcohol markers was all I wanted to be bothered using, and I'm really happy with the way it turned out. I've got some really nice different effects going on in the different areas, and I'm really happy with that. One of my goals this year has been to try and improve my alcohol marker skills and work with them in different ways instead of just saturated block colouring. And that sky really only worked because the marker itself was drying out, and I decided to go with it and just use it the best that I could. In some areas on the door or the gate, I have used a colourless blender, and the colourless blender was used to lift some colour out and get some variation in the colour that way. And pardon me, this whole page is in greys. I used the Ohuhu alcohol markers, and I've used all the different sorts of grey. So there's warm grey, cool grey, green grey, yellow grey, blue grey. Did I say that? Something like that. Anyway, there's green grey. There's lots of different greys. And I've used, you know, from the very palest one up to a darker one, and used them to blend together. And then the wool, stone wool, and the dragon has had a range of the neutrals. So things like, I think there's one called milk tea, you know, beiges, putty. All of those are very basic cream or light neutral colours. Even these have just got pretty much green grey, I think they had on them. So very, very limited in terms of colours. However, the Ohuhu alcohol marker set has, like, you know, 5 variations of a green grey, or 5 variations of a warm grey, so you can go from very light to very dark, and everything in between, and you can make all sorts of colours with those. And that's what I did there. So I'm really happy with the way that turned out. It's very muted for me. It's not usually my colour palette, but every now and again I thoroughly enjoy working that way. Now I'm just going to flick back to another page first. This was the first page that I coloured in this book. This is the Woodland Dryad, and I really liked the black version, and it's very rare that I have ever started a book with the black version first. It just hasn't happened, but this one I really liked and decided to go with this for the first page. And this is Ohuhu alcohol markers, coloured pencils, and Wink of Stella. And I enjoyed that one very much, so then I decided to do the daytime version, and I only had Crayola pencils with me in hospital, so this one was coloured in hospital as well, and that is all that is on that page is Crayola coloured pencil. So the girl herself doesn't look, you know, much different. I've gone for the same sort of colours, but I treated these bits differently, the sky differently, you know, the little critters. And that's probably the first time I think that I've ever done the 2 versions of a page in one book before. So that's a first as well. This one done at home was alcohol markers, coloured pencil, and Gelly Roll metallic. And I quite enjoyed that one again. Pretty much coloured the whole thing with the alcohol markers, and then the pencil has only been used at the end. Colourless blender to lift some colour off. A bit of white pencil for some extra highlights and texture. You know, the coloured pencil's just been brought in areas just to deepen some of the colours, get a little bit of texture in there, and so on. So you might be able to see the bit of shine there. So that one I enjoyed very much as well. This is a great book. There's so many of them that I'm really interested in doing the 2 versions, and that I really honestly say that that's the first time I've wanted to do that, I think. So this one is called Toll Evasion, Ohuhu alcohol markers and coloured pencil. And again, thoroughly enjoyed that one. A little bit more, get that a bit more focused. A little bit more detailed, but I enjoyed that one. So that was the Woodland Dryad. This is a hospital colouring. This was Crayola pencils. That was all I had. These ones that I did in hospital aren't my greatest colouring, but you know, they're a bit of a page to look back on now and remember that I did it at a time that was a little bit difficult, but I still enjoyed it. And it was nice to have this on the times where I felt like I really needed to take my mind off of things. This one here is water-based markers, Crayola pencils, and Artex pencils, because I started this one in hospital and then finished it at home. And it's also got Secura Gelly Roll metallics on there, so you can see quite a bit of shine on some of these little details down here. But another really enjoyable one. I have discovered that I seem to quite enjoy colouring stone. So I start with a grey base and then I bring browns and greens and other colours into the stone afterwards. Love this little guy. I'd like to see him feature on his own page, I think. So if you're watching Russell, some of these little characters would be really cool if they get their own pages that they feature in. So there you go, that's that one. So a bit all over the place this month. I'm sorry that this particular video is all over the place. I'm still obviously not operating at my best. I'm not sure which is my favourite page this month. I really like that one. You know, that was a favourite. I also really liked... I've got a couple here that I started that I didn't get around to finishing. I really enjoyed this page. She's probably up there as one of my favourites, I think. And the little Reptiloids book, that little page was a lot of fun as well. So, quite a few different subject matter, medium, artists, you name it. I've done a bit of everything this month, I think. So while I was not able to do very much and I could get comfortable, I coloured a lot. So despite everything, it was quite a bumper month for completing. And also I had already based quite a few pages that I was able to go through and finish off rather quickly as well. Okay, so I'm going to leave it there. Thank you for watching. I thank you if you've stayed to the end here and you've put up with these issues with getting the focus right. I've wobbled the camera a few times, really sorry about that, the light issues and so on. I do apologise about that, but you know, at the moment I'm not being too hard on myself because I've been through a bit the last 2-3 weeks or so, especially. The whole month has just been a bit of turmoil, to be honest. But anyway, I'll go into that maybe in a colour and chat video. But that is what I managed to create. I'm really happy with the month. I think there's been some really interesting pages there. I certainly enjoyed the new medium of the watercolours there from Sakura. So thank you very much to Sakura Australia for featuring me as their star of the month this month and sending me a few products to try. It was really greatly appreciated and I enjoyed it very much. Thank you to everyone who's been sending me messages, wishing me well, wishing me a happy birthday, and I appreciate you more than I can actually put into words. So thank you everyone, and I hope to be back to more normal style videos pretty soon. And yeah, thank you for bearing with me. Okay, take care everyone. Bye now.